Hello everyone, welcome back to iExamB. Today, let's talk about reading comprehension. Now, reading comprehension is something that is common to many government exams. And we have today specially focused on IBPS AFO, IBPS RRB, NABARD Grade A, Grade B. Well, all of these exams are still quite some time away. We have some time in hand. This would be the best opportunity to improve your preparation, and this will help you to gain an edge over other uh, test takers. With this in mind, let's start. And you've been following us. Do not forget to subscribe, like our channel. Now, let's come to the very important thing, the content area. So if you're looking at these exams and the syllabus, the main content area can be categorized as vocabulary, grammar, reading comprehension, and then we have the application part of grammar. So that will come in the form of cloze test, in the form of error spotting, your idioms and phrases, sentence rearrangement, and fill in the blank. So we basically have a concept area and we have the application part of it. Now, reading comprehension, if you break down the words, it's read and comprehend. So this is a test of your comprehension skills. How much can you read and how well can you write and explain, or how well can you understand the content, and then how much can you apply. Okay, now there are certain tips and tricks that you can keep in mind as you start preparing for your exams. The first thing, what we usually do is that we usually follow the top to bottom approach, which means what? Which means we first read the passage, then we go down to the question, and then as we are reading, we try to find out and zoom into the content, right? Now, why don't we try the bottoms up approach? Now, what is this bottom up approach? The bottom up method is read the question first, and then you can come to the passage. Now, I personally am very comfortable with this method because if you're reading the question first and the passage later, what happens is that there are some words in the question that get stuck in your mind. They work like keywords, right? So when you are reading the passage, instead of reading everything in detail, you will focus on those keywords. So what will happen? Your focus area becomes narrow. So you are not wasting your time reading and focusing on anything and everything. That is the first thing. The second thing is that if you remember those keywords that are given in the question, it will be easy for you to answer direct questions. And number three, if you know where to focus, if you know your content, if you can find your answer quickly, that obviously saves time. So we can try out this method. This is not something that is mandatory. It's up to you. If you're comfortable with the top-bottom approach, you can go ahead with that. But I can suggest, it's my suggestion, that you can try out the bottom-up method. The second thing is that learn the art of skim reading. You have, and this only comes from practice. Now, what is skim reading? Skim reading is you need to read in chunks. You don't need to read everything. Concentrate on everything. You need to read in chunks and you need to understand the main area. You just need to glance through the lines and try to extract the main idea. That's called skim reading. That's skimming, right? Not reading in detail. Okay. The other thing that you can use is that whenever you get your question, your exam starts and you are attempting reading comprehension, try to answer the direct and the easy questions first. Okay. Don't run after the complicated one. You will be fine with them. You will be able to work it out, but you need some time for that. And if you're running short of time, the best thing would be to approach or handle the direct and the easy questions first. Next, for indirect questions, right, for those that are indirect and a bit complicated, you need to do some deep reading, read them carefully. And while you are reading, try to highlight the main points. That is very, very important. Try to highlight the main points. Next, improve your vocabulary. And that will be tested when you are working on the synonym and the antonym section. Try to work on the vocabulary. So, for example, if you're practicing reading comprehension and you find that, usually the synonyms and the antonyms, there are 4 to 5 options. Try to find out the meanings of all 4, all 5. So that will lead you, and then you go on to find their antonyms and synonyms. So that will expand your vocabulary. And the last thing, be focused and calm. There's no need to get panicky. You will be just fine. You just need to be focused and calm and try to concentrate, not get distracted. Okay, with this in mind, let's try to work out a reading comprehension, and let's try to follow the bottoms up method and see if it helps us or not. So here is the this is not the full passage, this is just the half of it. Okay, so when you're looking at this video, you can pause it and you can go through it if you're following the top bottom approach. This is the second part of the video. And here is the first question. So let's try to read the questions first. Okay. The first question says, why did the government order invoke a fear in the historian? So we are looking for a government order and fear, right? That, try to register that in your mind as a keyword. Let's look at the next question. When was the entire hill of Mangamaripeta village declared as an area comprising a protected monument? So we are looking for an year when the village was declared a protected monument. Okay, let's move on. Why is the site a living laboratory for biologists, archaeologists, geologists, and other scientists? So we are looking at a question related to the site. Yes, this is the village of Mangamaripeta becoming a laboratory. Why? For biologists, archaeologists, geologists, and other scientists. And next question is true and false. So we will wait for the true and false. First, let's try to find out the first 3 answers, why it became a subject of fear. Then let's go back and look for a year. And then we are going to look for why it became a laboratory. Why is it being called a laboratory, living laboratory? Okay, let's read. So we need to highlight the points. Heritage activists are up in arms against a recent government order. So here is the government order, remember? That notified only 120 acres of the ancient Buddhist site of Thotlakonda as protected area. Earlier, the Buddhist site under the State Department of Archaeology housed 3143 acres. Historians feared that the GO, this is the government order, and this is very, very important, may lead to commercial exploitation of the heritage site. So here we can find the first answer. Next, in 1976, during a helicopter survey of the hills by the Indian Navy to set up a naval facility, ruins of the Buddhist sites were spotted. Subsequently, the entire hill of Mangamaripeta village, Bhimunipatnam Taluka, Vishakhapatnam district, was declared as an area comprising a protected monument. We don't need to look any further. It's here. 1976. We've got the answer. Next. Subsequently, a partial excavation of the site by the State Archaeology Department found ancient pottery such as tanware, black redware, coins from the Satavahana period, and Roman coins, labels with Brahmi inscriptions. inscribed chhatra pieces, terracotta, glass beads, bangles, stuccos, and stone sculpture remains at the site. So just skim read the next two sentences. We don't have the living laboratory reference here. Let's move on. Yes, here it is. It is a living, okay. Since the site was left undisturbed, it was last inhabited, and this allowed flora and fauna to develop naturally. It is a living laboratory for biologists. This is very, very important. We have a question here. Okay? Let's now go back to the questions. Government order fear. Which one do you think is the answer? It's right here because we just read through it. Got it? There you go. Next one. When was the entire will of, and we know this answer, right? We just marked it. It's 1976. You see how easy it is for you to find the answers if you read through the questions. You might just read the questions in batches, but you don't need to read them all at the same time, but it becomes easier. And also, remember something. Usually questions have a sequence, right? They are not random. They have a sequence. It might be random just to confuse you, but they have a sequence. Try to follow the sequence. Next, why is the site a living laboratory? And that's the first sentence of the second page of the passage, remember? Because the site was last inhabited 2000 years ago, which allowed flora and fauna to develop. There you go. This is the true and false. You need to find out which one is false. Okay. At present, only 120 acres of the ancient Buddhist site of Thotlakonda is protected area. This is right. This is correct. We just read this. A partial excavation of the by Central. No, this is not Central Archaeological Department. This is incorrect information. 90 species of birds. I think we just saw this. If you remember, I don't think we read through it. Yes, there you go. 90 species of birds found in the vicinity. There you go. On this side, if you read ahead, you will see that this site was not well funded. Usually, it was not well funded, and therefore, 4 and 2, this is incorrect information. Okay, State Archaeology Department, most Indian heritage sites are poorly funded. Let's move on. Here you have the first vocab question. Which of the following is not a synonym of the word repository? Now, depository, vault, stockroom, depot. These are mostly synonyms of repository, which means a storehouse. Okay, so dungeon is not. There you go. Option E. Okay. Which of the following mean the same as the word inscription? Craving means when you want to eat something, you have a desire to eat something, that's craving. Cratering is a hole created. It can be found on the surface of the moon, surface of different planets, or it's been done by a meteor. Creating means to make something. Carving, inscription is usually carved on stones or caves. This can be a good option. Caring is again completely off the point. So here our option is D. Right? I hope you like this. I hope you like the approach that I adopted. I hope you're going to try it out soon and let me know, or let us know how you liked it. If you like this video, do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, stay healthy. Thank you.